Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Hilaal Live. Thanks for watching us on channel 347. You can also live stream on www.hilal.tv. Now, keeping with the Chias, and we know it's World Cup time as well, South Africa being the reigning World Cup championships, bit of pill to swallow, but I have to mention that. And we thought, let's invite a local actor in who's just as passionate about rugby as he is about the industry that he finds himself in as well. A very, very warm Hilaal TV welcome to Christo Davids. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's my absolute pleasure. I mean, you're a household name. I just want to ask, do people still refer to you as Errol?
After 8 years, they do. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
is that how long you were on the series for?
I haven't been on the series for 8 years.
Oh, my word.
But whenever you come to a place like Cape Town, it feels like you were still on yesterday.
Fantastic. So for those that don't know too much about your career, and I know that you started in the theatre industry, but you also qualified in the law faculty as well. In the law industry, you studied law for a short while.
I studied LLB at the University of the Western Cape, and I finished in 2006.
Right.
But at the time, I was very active at the Baxter Theatre and other TV series and films.
Right.
So it's always been a juggle between the two. But and law wasn't necessarily my first choice.
Okay.
Obviously.
Right. Have you ever played a lawyer?
I have not played a lawyer. I have written characters that are lawyers. I was on a writing team for a series called Good Men that was about lawyers. The new series LLB is about lawyers, but personally, I've never played a lawyer or been in a court. Someone once said to me, it would be interesting if you walk into a courtroom and the judge suddenly goes, Errol, Vasha, mine.
I've always wanted to ask as well, with you being on Seven Dalan for so long, I'd love to know what is that recipe for the eggs that Charmaine makes every single morning, because anyone had to stir that pot when the eggs were made.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Were there eggs in there?
That is true. That is eggs. It's real eggs. It's real food. It's edible. It's everybody out there. It's safe.
Halal.
It's halal.
But it must have been such an amazing time as well. Being on that series, I would imagine, elevated your career to a large extent?
Definitely. Sivalan meant a lot to me. The beauty of Dani Oudendal, who was the executive producer and creator of Sivalan at the time, is that he gave me the freedom to work there for 3 months, go away for 3 months to go do something else, and come back for 4 months, and then go away again. So I had the opportunity to go work all over, to do a variety of different other things, to hone different skills, to meet different people, and then go back and still, pay the rent.
Amazing. And we thank Fahim for allowing you to come through and chat to us as well. And Errol's, I'm saying Errol, listen to me. Christo has a very special relationship with the Baxter as
Absolutely. I think that over the years, Christo has performed there. Say, Opa has also been there over the years performing at the Baxter, right?
Yes.
So there's a long history of performances, but he's done an incredible amount of work also behind the scenes. Theatre, your first love, we know that, of course, but at the Baxter particularly is sort of like your second home. So he's not only performed, he has also directed sort of a trilogy of Platform 9, which you normally have at the festive season. And what is great about it, he works with fellow actors that, again, their first love will always be theatre, but television helps to pay the rent and also helps to, as you said, elevate their careers. And he's currently working on the most phenomenal play, which you are very passionate about, and it's an American playwright. But what is wonderful about it, he'll tell you about the cast and the incredible team that he's working with, but he's localized the story, which we always like doing, so that it's accessible to local audiences. You tell us a little bit more about Orphans.
So the play's called Orphans, I believe so, and you've got Abdurrahman Adams in there and Christian Bennett as well. That's also very famous in our South African theatre and film industry as well. The next love from acting, moving on to producing, directing as well. Was that a big change for you? Did you find that transition quite smooth?
Look, someone summed me up one day and said, you're a writer who happens to do a couple of other things.
Nice.
Which is true, because I come from a family of actors, a family of theatre makers. My grandfather was Goliath Davids. He was Phila's husband and Phila's kind, and Yankee's daddy and Yankee Komaistu. My other uncle is Peter John Davids. He's also a director. My other uncle is Lloyd Davids.
Nice.
He's a writer-director. So it's part of who you are. It's part of the DNA that you made up out of. But the whole transition from being an actor to stepping into a professional environment where the expectation is much different, than doing something purely out of love. Now your livelihood depends on it.
Correct.
And there's a saying, you're only as good as your last performance.
Correct.
So yes, the transition wasn't as smooth. It wasn't from, the 1 minute I woke up as an actor and tomorrow I woke up and I was a director. It does take a lot of time. I personally like to delve deep into things and to study things and to get to the essence of it and the academia of it. I didn't have the opportunity to study theatre at a university, so I had to go out and read a lot and learn a lot on my own.
This time you use AI these days, and it may just give you a whole script as well.
Yes, AI is not my friend.
Okay, good to know.
So yeah, it's been quite a journey, but it's been something that I can look back on and be proud of and go, wow. I turned 40 this year, and
congratulations.
I said at my surprise birthday party that my wife organized to the T, that even my blessings are blessed.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Alhamdulillah.
So the production itself, Orphans, the storyline, what does it depict?
So Orphans is about two brothers that live in a dilapidated house in Woodstock.
Okay.
Their mother died when they were very young, and their dad disappeared before any of them had any consciousness to know where he would have gone. And after the mother dies, these two brothers grow up by themselves. They raise each other. They become each other's survival. The eldest brother being a pickpocketer, because that's how he earns his income. And the younger brother, who's on the autism spectrum, lives off mayonnaise and Maggie 2-minute noodles every day because that's his meal of choice. So the one brother goes out to rob so that his younger brother can eat the Maggie's 2-minute noodles. And then one night he goes out, he brings back a man that he thinks, this looks like we've hit the jackpot here. They bring that man into the house, and the next moment, they just invited Cape Town's most wanted gangster into their house.
Ouch.
So he doesn't want to leave, and they don't want him to stay. So that becomes, so look, the play is described as magical realism. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of the inter and intrapersonal relationships between brothers and the relationship between a father and a son, which is core to the story. I always say the dramatic question that we are trying to answer here is nature stronger than nurture, or is nurture stronger than nature?
Brilliant.
You've been left as an orphan all your life, and somebody steps in and tries to teach you structure, but your nature is not to accept structure, but now is the nurturing of that structure, will that have the overhand at the end of the day? So it deals with all those themes, and to my knowledge, is very relevant to South Africa today, because we do live in societies where there's a lot of lack of fatherhood, and even if there is a father figure in the house, it doesn't necessarily mean that that father is equipped, to raise another man, or to show the path to another man of how to be a man if he himself struggled with the lack of his father, for example. And how does that generational thing carry on?
That's amazing. I mean, did you see how he just went into director mode, explaining?
He does, and
the professionalism that comes out. Well done.
And I think what is great also, you could hear, this is why I'm always very proud of Christo, you could hear the thought behind it, that lawyer brain that that is there, so, to kind of interrogate into. I must just tell you that there's also a very thin line between the drama in a courtroom and the drama on the stage. I mean, they are not far removed. But
well
Chris, as he said, he loves to get into the nitty gritty of it, the depth of it, to understand it. And I mean, I suppose the years now that he's post being on Seven Land, that he's learned to direct, you need to also extract those sort of things from other artists and from other performers and stuff. So it's fundamental. So it's mooi gepraat, man. I'm very proud.
It's also, it's also because we although it's set in a dramatic role, it's a dark comedy. Right, it's one of those things where you laugh, but you're not sure if you're supposed to laugh at it. But
it's quite sensitive,
and it is the job of theatre, right?
Correct.
It's to hold up a mirror. It's to show us where we are, or what we lack, or what the purpose should be, and why we're not achieving that.
Fantastic. So when does the show start, and how long will it be running for at the Baxter?
The show starts on the 11th of October in the Golden Arrow Studio at the Baxter. The tickets are at Web Tickets. You can book now. It's open.
And or where else? Or at Pick and Pay stores.
Yes.
For those people who struggle to go online, at Web Tickets, I can also get them at Pick and Pay stores.
The cast that you've put together as well are people that you've worked closely with over the very many years as well. There must be such a special family bond that you've created over the years?
I met Abdurrahman Erms originally I met Abdurrahman when I was about 12 years old. I was in a TV series with him called Hagenheim Streng Privaat.
Wow.
And then after that, I met him again when he was a lecturer at the University of Stellenbosch when I was 16 years old, and I attended the acting workshop that Abdurrahman was presenting. And over the years, Abdurrahman has become a family friend of ours.
Brilliant.
You know, I'm not the first member of my family to direct Abdurrahman in a show, for argument's sake. Abdurrahman was also the lead in the first play, professional play that I ever wrote that was staged at the Baxter called Bullets Over Bishop Lavis. So we have walked quite a journey together, and when this play presented itself, and when I went to pitch it at the Baxter and proposed to perform it there, Abdurrahman came with a package almost. You know, and everyone at the Baxter is always happy to have an actor of Abdurrahman's caliber walk onto the stage. Christy Bennett, I met with two of my friends that I grew up with, Maurice Page, who plays Tyron.
Oh, yes.
In
St.
Worcester.
Yes, correct.
And my other friend, Theodore Yankees,
Okay.
he at this moment plays the pharmacist in St. Worcester. I'm very bad with the character names. But anyway, so I met Christy through them because they were all first-year drama students together.
Stunning.
Christy at the moment is one of the stars of Arend's Flame,
Correct.
is where people would know him most from. My favorite role of Christy Bennett will also be in Nomai Scully.
Oh, yes.
You know, he did some phenomenal work. So I'm very excited to be working with the two of them that I've walked this journey with. But then there's Stefan Erasmus, you know, who is a young, vibrant talent. He's currently in the film Old Righteous Blues that's directed by Munira Salis.
Right.
But the energy that Stefan brings to the rehearsal room, you have to be awake constantly.
Amazing.
You know, it's almost like, and so myself, Christy, and Abdurrahman, we've got a lot of stories between each other that it's fun, you know.
Yeah.
But he always brings us back and go, guys, come,
Nice.
we need to.
For a young guy coming up in the industry.
But he is a very exciting talent.
Nice.
He's vibrant, and you know, I always say this: some of us have talent, and others got the gift. And I honestly think I'm sitting with a very gifted cast.
Brilliant. Christo, thank you so much for coming into studio. We wish you the very best with this production, and I'm sure it's not the last production we're going to hear about. Thank you for everything you've done for our theatre and in your career as well. Last prediction for the box on Sunday? Score?
My prediction for the box on Sunday is about 48-7.
48-7. Yes,
My prediction is just a win. That's all I can tell
No,
you.
I'm going in. I'm got all my money.
I must say it's very possible, having seen what happened
Against
when they played Ireland.
Don't say All Blacks. That wasn't part of the World Cup.
That doesn't matter.
That was pre-World Cup.
Let us not.
Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen. Fine, Jazakallah so much to you as well. All the very best, and we look forward to hearing about all the wonderful things in your future, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
And that's Up Close and Personal with Christo Davids, one of our favorite sons of South Africa in the theatre and TV and film industry as well. We wish him all the very best with all his future endeavors, inshallah. We're going to take a break for Maghrib, Salah from Makkah, and then just after that, about 5 to 6, it's a World Cup update. I've got two analysts coming into studio, and we're going to just catch up on all the games that are already played and games that are going to be played this weekend and early next week as well. You are still watching Hilaal Live.